Hi everybody, my name is Milana, and I was recently recruited by Nintendo to do a Fresh 4 recap video with them and with 9 Whole Greens, and it was really awesome. So everybody in chat, say hi YouTube. Alright, so we're gonna watch the video together, and it's gonna be fun. I will put it out there that when we were recording, I was really nervous. I'm not so good at the whole talking and recording the one-time thing. I'm really good at talking and kind of like mumbling and fumbling my words around until I get the right idea out. Not so good at the whole like, here's one take, let's try to get it in one go. Not the best at that. So you can tell in the beginning I was really nervous, and it's juxtaposed by like Nine's eloquence and how good he is at talking. So just putting that out there, I was really nervous. When I was recording, they like stopped me. They're like, it's fine. It's like super casual, like a really easy thing. You know, just think of it like you're talking to kids. And I'm like, that's literally my job and I cannot do it right. So so that was a time. I realized they can't exist, and that's what it is. You can go to your Nintendo Switch Online app here. Now the thing about this app is it's a little bit laggy for me. And if you go right here, in the first video in the trending, you too can watch this video on your Switch. Mel on Twitch, YouTube, and now on the Switch. Okay, but there I am, me, Milana, there's my face, that's 9, hold up. There's my face. There I am on your Switch. Me too, me, you, me could be on your Switch if you just go into the Nintendo Switch app. I really thought they were gonna put it on YouTube, and I was like, oh, YouTube, like cool, like, you know, whatever. Yeah, I was like, maybe you could throw a quick shout out to my channel. No, I'm just kidding. And then they're like, by the way, it's on the Switch app, and I'm like, what? That's kind of wild. I'm gonna stop talking now.
Welcome, all you kids and squids, to our recap of the Splatoon 2 Fresh 4 Championship 2021. My name is 9 Whole Greens, I'm a Splatoon commentator and a huge fan of the game, and I cannot be more excited to bring the action to you here today.
Hi everybody, my name is Milana, and I'm an enthusiastic squid kid just like you. Today we're joined by 2 teams, Not FT Win and Starburst. 2 of the best teams in North America. It is true. I don't usually
featuring Judd and Lil Judd.
when I play games.
Without further ado, let's take it to game number 1.
Game 1 was a story of decisive movement and trusting your game plan, and boy did these teams get it started early.
That's right, 9. We can see here Kyo getting an early splatted by Bran and Ice. And both members of Starburst moving to that advantageous positioning and, you know, really just holding down that zone where they need to be.
It's not easy to take back against this team, and take a look at how Not FT Win did it. Look at all those bombs flying from left to right, booyah bombs, suction bombs, splat bombs. Woo! Had to back all the way back and give up the zone there.
I love that they have this
replay. Catch that
replay.
slow-mo replay in case you missed a little bit of that action.
I feel like tournaments would benefit so much for having an instant replay like this.
Trying to catch that zone from Not FT Win. And what is important here to notice is that 2 members of FT Win
the junior
trying to combine
gameplay.
their specials to hold that zone. And because, you know, there's power in numbers, 9.
There absolutely is power in numbers. I see what you did there, and this is actually a strategy that they used multiple times throughout this game. We actually have it from the perspective of Bagel this time, who is lined all the way back, tossing the suction bombs from as far away as possible, understanding that they need to stay on the map if they want to take the zone. Out the corner of your eye, you'll also see that Kyo had jumped down with another bomb rush as well. It was just enough to take the zone back as they were on the verge of defeat. With just over 10 seconds left, they bought themselves some more time.
And like we said, positioning. Biscuit here is taking kind of a dangerous position and unfortunately gets picked off by Ice, but Ice here using that pick to make space and take a more advantage spacing so that they can protect the zone.
Is that a 3-year sub?
The 2 teams traded punches back and forth through the rest of it until this final decisive hold here from FT Win. Bagel once again gets
tough. The timing was a little bit tough.
Bomb rush, but take a look here. holding down this area by this fan to ensure
Thank
that
you,
his teammates
Lycoon. I
could move
appreciate
up.
it.
You're gonna see here just in a moment, Kyo backs up here next to Bagel and uses another bomb rush in order to force the members of Starburst all the way back. Once they got this portion of the map, Milana, they never let it go.
That's right, Nine. And you know, we see that timer ticking down, and
Like,
this was the
I need to pause there. My favorite is we were looking at this clip that they sent us, and all we see is the ink storm on top, and we're like, I really wish I knew what was going on here. So like, well, can I like go back just a little bit?
All the way back. Once they got this portion of the map, Milana, they
We
never
just
let
see
it
the
go.
ink storm from the overhead.
That's
We're like,
right, Nine.
like.
And, you know, we see that timer ticking down, and this was
That's
the
right,
decisive play that gave
Nine.
them
We
the
see that ink storm right here. Good gameplay.
A fantastic game number one, and let me tell you, when we saw that game number one looked like this, we knew we're in for one heck of a set. And speaking of that set, let's go ahead and throw it right into the middle with game number 4.
As we enter Game 4 of the Fresh 4 Championship, Not FT Win only has one more game to claim the victory. Starburst is going to have to make some big changes, so they opt to change their weapon composition to something a little longer ranged.
What
Are we wearing
Starburst
the
gained in a
same
bit
shirt?
of range, they gave up
No,
in
we
mobility.
planned on.
About halfway
I
through
was
the
going
game,
to wear
Not
the shirt
FT
he
Win
was
took
wearing, but I
advantage of a
opted
slight
not. I was like,
overextension
maybe
and
not.
used
And
that
then
speed to
when we like
swarm
saw
the
each other, and I'm
members
like,
of
I'm really
Starburst
glad
as
I
they
didn't
went
go
on
with that
to
shirt.
score big.
Because the first
From there,
time we
it was a hop,
commentated
skip,
together,
and a jump.
the first time we commentated together for Nintendo, we actually did wear the same like sweatshirt, and we're like, okay. So yeah, that was a time. I was really like cautious not to wear the same thing as him this time around.
To get a huge lead that they would hold until the game's waning seconds.
And with 30 seconds left on the clock, Starburst is going to have to make some big moves to get some points on the board. Brandroid taking that left route over there and getting a pick off of Not FT Win is going to be huge. It's going to give them a little bit of area to move forward, and it's going to make Not FT Win retreat.
They took advantage of that almost immediately. You can see Bran and Jared at the top of the screen attacking Not FT Win's flank. In the meantime, Ice and Brandroid wait patiently for that attack to land, and once Bran rotates back, Ice moves in with a huge score that starts the bonanza. The rest of the members swarm as quickly as they can, and an emphatic victory going the direction
This was
of
a really
Starburst.
like
And with the
wild
end of
set
game
though.
4, Starburst is
That reverse
finally on the
sweep was
board,
something-
and the
something
momentum
else.
starts to shift in their favor. That will bring us to an exciting Game 7. Let's take a look here.
We had finally arrived at Game 7, the championship point. The two rivals had treated us to another incredible set in their storied history. But it was finally time to determine a winner and for heroes to be made.
Our first big play was made by Ice. Ice from Starburst surviving an unlikely 2v1 right here, and this gives Starburst the ability to push up a little bit. And Ice taking that
Yeah.
defensive positioning is able to charge their
I think
special,
it's not
the
FT Win
Stingray.
because
By
Shaq
using
can't
the
play with them in
Stingray,
these
they
tournaments.
are able to
And I think
kind of
Bursty also can't
produce
play
a
with
little
them
bit of
because they're both
covering
Canadian.
fire and take out hopefully a member
Maybe?
or two.
I think
of
that's why.
Not
Either
FT
that
Win,
or they were busy. I
helping
can't
that
remember.
Rainmaker make its first push.
Not to be outdone by his teammate, Bran went on an absolute tear this game, hitting an incredible double direct with this inkjet and getting a second pick on Kyo from Not FT Win.
FT won't.
This push
FT
looked like it
didn't.
might take the points
FT
the distance
wouldn't.
as the team moved closer and closer to getting that knockout.
What Starburst wasn't anticipating was Biscuit waiting for them as they were making that push. Biscuit able to hold that defensive positioning and take a couple of members of Starburst down allows for an opening for Not FT Win to make a push.
In their final desperate push, FT Win placed all their cards in the correct position. Kyo and Bagel moved up, taking out 3 members, with the last one being Brandroid. In an incredible, unlikely fight, Brandroid was able to take out all 3 members of Not FT Win, securing the victory for his team.
But that was a lot of action in one go, so let's take another look at the action in slow-mo. As we can see here, 2D is holding a defensive positioning, trying to defend against Bran, getting a lot of support from their teammates, and in this one last final opportunity to make the push, unfortunately Brandroid is able to stop all 3 members of Not FT Win in one go, giving the victory to Starburst.
At the end of this historic set, Starburst completed an incredible reverse sweep to earn their
Yeah, we're
very
not wearing the
first
same
North
shirt.
American
I
championship.
just wanted to like.
And 9, I for one cannot wait to see not FT win and Starburst duke it out on the battlefield once again.
We've hoped you'd enjoyed this recap of the Splatoon 2 Fresh 4 Championship 2021. Until next time, stay fresh!
That was fun. Hi Pixie. It was fun. Like it was a really fun time. Yeah, thanks everybody. And you guys, if you missed it, you can catch it in your streams. Hello, in your Switches, and in your Twitch channels too. I think I could have done better, definitely. It took a little while for me to like get into the groove of things. That first part that I recorded was actually the last thing that we recorded, because the first take that I did of my introduction was just like so like, my name is Milana and I like Splatoon. Like, you know? They're like, let's like redo that again. If you guys have any questions about this experience, I have a lot to share about it. Like, it was really cool. I always really like working with Nintendo because of the specific people that I work with are all super passionate about like making things happen for Splatoon. Actually, the hardest part about this whole recording was that I wasn't allowed to use a script. That's why I was like struggling a lot. Like when I make my videos, I script everything. Like I write everything out. I just like say it as normally as I can. If it sounds awkward, I'll like try and change up the words while I'm recording it. But you obviously have a lot of leeway to recording because it's just you in the recording, right? For this video, we actually weren't allowed to use a script because the idea was that it was going to be a dialogue between me and 9. And you don't script a dialogue, right? When you have a conversation with someone, you just like, you talk. So that was why it was so difficult for me to like do whatever. So I just kind of, everything that we talked about, we came up with pretty much on the spot. I actually spent a lot of time preparing for this. Like I wrote notes like front and back on the paper, like about things that we could talk about. Me and 9 had met up beforehand and we talked about the things that we had to point out. There was a lot of back and forth between us and Nintendo about the things we wanted to talk about, the things we wanted to focus on. And you know, it was a discussion and it was really cool. I thought it was really productive. That's why I was like really nervous, because I didn't have that like script being like, my name is Milana and today we're gonna be talking about the Fresh 4 recap 2021. Like, you know, like it didn't have that. So it was interesting. Yes, I agree, Katun. It was really difficult. Like if you're commentating a match, everything's like very live, so you can just like comment on things as they're happening, which is a little bit easier than commenting on things that have already happened and working on the timing of the video and the timing of like what you say. So that was a little bit tough. Yeah, I understood why they said no script. It makes sense, but it was still difficult for me because do everything in one take and hope for the best. Like that's why streaming works really well for me, because I'm just like, I'll like say something and then it turns out a little like word vomit, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna backtrack real quick and I'm gonna try that again. Who else did I work with behind the scenes aside from 9? Just the people from Nintendo. I've had discussions with folks from Nintendo about promoting healthy competitive gaming, so there's like teams that are working behind the scenes for things like that. More or less it was just 9 for as far as commentary goes. It was 9 and a couple of other people from Nintendo. We had somebody working on the video side, we had somebody you know, doing the recording stuff, we had somebody like just, you know, just overseeing, supervising, so it was good. I know for sure having these kinds of highlights are on the radar of Nintendo to be able to integrate more of the community to try and like make these kinds of videos and promotions happen more frequently. They did not give us each a copy of ARMS as compensation. In fact, I've only ever played ARMS one time in my life. That was at Nintendo New York. And I was playing against this like 5-year-old kid. And I utterly got demolished. Like, it was really bad. I was just like, Broshi was there. You can ask Broshi. Broshi's like, wow, that was pathetic. And I'm like, yeah, it was. When will you start lifting heavy weights with one finger like 9 does? In fact, I can do that. I may or may not end up with a broken finger by the end of it. It's fine. I mean, I used to go to CrossFit and then I stopped going to CrossFit, so I just have to go back to CrossFit. It's fine. I'll get there. Trust. Alright. Anyway, If you guys again would like to watch this video on your Switch, you can catch it on your Nintendo Switch app. You know, I'm like super happy to answer questions about pretty much anything. Like I'm pretty much an open book. So if you have any questions about like, you know, my time working with Nintendo or my time like commentating for Nintendo or just anything about Splatoon, always super happy to have you, you know, ask the questions, so you guys can ask your questions in the chat. I always say in the chat, I'm such a Twitch streamer. You can drop your comments in the comments. You can drop your questions in the comment section below. Yes. I really am trying to push to get YouTube partnered, so if you guys want to watch my videos and help me out with that, that would be really cool. It will definitely add a lot of motivation to making videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button. With that being said, I'll see you guys next week for another episode on my Looking for Games series. On my Looking for Games series. And until next time, bye, stay fresh.